Ms. Carosella,
Here.
Ms. Carr,
Here.
Mr. Corey,
Here.
Mr. Hayward is absent, Ms. Magdabola is absent, Dr. Robinson is absent, Ms. Scarpelli,
Here.
Ms. Stevenson,
Here.
Ms. Rundell.
Here. Here. Ms. Ryan, will you lead us in the flag salute tonight?
Oh.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of meeting. In accordance with PL 1975, Chapter 231, notice of tonight's meeting was mailed to the record in the Ridgewood News on January 3rd, 2023. Notice of this meeting was also mailed to the Borough Clerk and was posted on the bulletin board of the Board of Education office in the Administration Building on the same date. Copies of the procedures in effect for regular board meetings are available for the public at tonight's meeting. Ms. Scarpelli, will you read our mission statement?
I will. Okay. Let me get my glasses on here. The Glen Rock School District, founded on principles of education, in partnership with the supportive community, provides an exceptional education to all students to cultivate resilient, responsible, and engaged global citizens.
Thank you. I think that brings us to Kate White.
Okay, I have a couple of months worth of events to run through. So first, starting off with the end of April, the 7th graders went on their Camp Mason trip. My sister was on that trip. It was like team bonding. They stayed in a cabin in the woods for I think 2 or so days, maybe just once overnight. They did, rope latteries, things, and very Girl Scout, Boy Scout-esque. My sister had a lot of fun. The middle school spring social was on May 5th. Mr. Escalante shared that there is 350 kids in attendance. They had games and magic and face painting. The middle school concert and art show was May 10th. And our high school concert was last Wednesday, which I was in, where, the band, the orchestra performed, as well as the in-school choir and the after-school auditioned choir. I mentioned the senior seminars last time, but I guess just to recap, basically, these seniors can choose a series of life skills workshops that Ms. Bacolis and Mr. Giraldo have put together for us. I just had my first one the other day. It was self-defense for females, so we were over in Trasso Jiu-Jitsu, just in town, and we learned different maneuvers to get out of emergency situations, and that was really fun. I felt like a wrestler. And my next one is with Mrs. Jen Knight, and that's next week, and it's mindfulness and stress management. So I'm really excited for that one because I used to take her yoga classes. Teen Arts was last Friday, and it's the first time it's been held since 2019. So essentially anyone who is in an art class or does after-school choir or is in broadcast media, anything of that sort, they could have signed up to go down to Bergen Community College, where there was workshops for them to take, art workshops, video making workshops. The choir performed, I believe. I think possibly the orchestra performed, but it was great because we haven't had that in some time, and I know everyone who went really, really loved it and had a great day. Semi was also the other day. Saw lots of pictures of everybody in their outfits. The middle school talent show, which Mr. Escalante says is one of the best events of the year, is May 24th. So everyone be sure to stop down there for some great middle school talent. I knew I really loved seeing that when I was in middle school. Dr. Parent has been grilling for each grade's barbecues this past month. I think the seniors have theirs in the beginning of June, and there are just food trucks and ice cream trucks, food trucks, and he's just out there on the grill down by the sports area by the fields. The Boston trip is coming up for the 8th graders, which I think will be the second or third time that we're going to Boston as opposed to DC. And I am proud to say that our high school musical company has been nominated for 4 Metro Awards. So the Metro Awards, if you haven't already seen on the Glen Rock Instagram, is just High School Musical Awards, I think, for New Jersey. So Glen Rock was nominated in 4 categories, and that will be on June 12th. So down there at that event, we'll see if we win anything. Prom coming up is June 8th and 9th, 8th for the seniors and 9th for the juniors. Very excited for that. And then we're just wrapping up with graduation practice in a few weeks and things of that nature.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kate. Anyone have any questions for Ms. Scarpelli?
Hi, thanks. So, seeing it's your last meeting here and graduating soon, I just was wondering, Have you been reflecting on your last 4 years here? What would you say really impacted you the most in this school? And what are you going to take away with you going forward?
I actually have been thinking about this recently. You know, when you do a lot of college interviews, or like requires you to reflect a lot on, you know, everything. But I would say that I think Glen Rock is very unique in that it is all mostly student-run, especially the arts. And going to other schools just for debate or for going to sports events at other schools and watching those, I see like aspects of like the arts companies being displayed, or I just hear about them through other friends. And I realized that Glen Rock is much more student-run than any of those other schools. And that's why I mentioned actually the Metro Awards, because I think it is so impressive that a school of our size and run by students is actually, you know, up to par with some of these huge regional schools or private schools who are also being nominated for these awards in these different categories. So I think I'm just really proud to be coming from a school where students take most of the initiative and have most of the creativity and have just passion for so many different things. Like even Dean is here today, you know, he's here every week with doing tech and stuff. I just feel like I see students everywhere following things that they really enjoy, and I think that also comes to the fact that we have so many different electives that we can take, much more than we used to have, and I just think that's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. Anyone else? Well, I just wanted to say thank you for your time, and thank you for informing us. I have no doubt that you're going to be amazing in your future. I love listening to you talk right now and every time you speak. Just don't forget to visit every once in a while. Thank you, Kate.
Thank you.
Good luck.
You've always been my favorite part of the agenda, no offense.
Sam, Kate, we have something for you.
So just stay
you have to
one more
stay one more second. First of all, I would share, you mentioned Dean. Dean lost a bet, and that's why he's here every week. But we'll certainly recognize Dean. He's got a couple more meetings left in him. But for you, Kate, we have a couple of things here for you. We have a certificate, Ms. Rendell. We have some flowers. And then the best thing we have is we have some eggs from my chickens. Okay, so.
All right.
So I just have two things. One is we're off, just a reminder to the community, we're off this Friday, May 26th, one of our emergency closing day givebacks. We're also off on Tuesday, June 6th as well. And then I want to welcome Mr. James Canellis, who right now is the Assistant BA, who will be taking over as BA on June 1st. It's certainly a pleasure to have you here, Mr. Canellis, and it's been a great several days so far as you transition in. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Charleston. So I will open up our first of two public comments. This is for agenda items only. Please state your name, your address. You have 3 minutes. I'll open up public comment at 7:09.
Hear me now?
Yep.
Beautiful. I said, good evening, everybody. Jim Garofalo, 140 Midwood Road in beautiful downtown Glen Rock. What I'd like to speak about is the absence of Mr. Parent for next year. On behalf of the BFW chapter in town, the Thomas D. Egan chapter, I would like to express our appreciation and gratitude to Dr. Parent for support and cooperation with our chapter. What a breath of fresh air after what we experienced with his predecessor. Dr. Parent is a throwback to the old school in that he appreciates his country and his values, and he shows it, unlike many in education today. I first met Dr. Parent at Fairlawn Cemetery, of all places. How about that? That place is on Maple Avenue, by the way, right down from the Toyota place. He was there to help start the Wreath Across America program. Some of you may know of it. His speech knocked my socks off. I said to myself, this is the kind of guy who shows leadership, knowledge, spirit, and courage. I watched as the students and parents listened with rapt attention. To say the least, he was impressive. As I said before, the VFW of Glen Rock appreciated his support, Company Commander Robert Steinberg in particular. Bob could not make the meeting here tonight, but Dr. Parent, he sends you his warmest greetings, as do all our members. May God bless you on your new journey, and we will miss you very, very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Colleen Manley, 70 Ridge Road. I'm also here to talk about Dr. Parent, but I just want to echo that Wreaths Across America was one of my favorite events that he brought here, and I hope it continues. And I think there are a lot of seeds that Dr. Parent planted that I hope we continue to nurture and grow. I know there's a lot of changes that he made that absolutely are going to continue a lot of good stuff. So, but anyway, yes, I just wanted to acknowledge Dr. Parent, but I actually want to take a moment and acknowledge Dr. Charleston for a moment, because I've been coming to these meetings for about 5 years. I know many of you have been with me here. And one of the most absolutely memorable meetings was the meeting where we had the vote on whether to consolidate the middle school and high school principals and have the supervisors. And at the time, I was really nervous about the whole combining the middle school, high school, while keeping the identity of the middle school and the high school. And I know I only have 3 minutes, so I'm not going to go on too long, but I just feel like Dr. Charleston has always brought sort of a fresh perspective, and I feel like that was something that he saw. It was a sort of a confluence of things that happened that created that opportunity. But he saw something, and I feel like it's really been a proof of concept with Dr. Parent. I think a lot of solid changes were made. I think that the tension and not in a bad way, but when you have two leaders in one building who want to just make their own space, that's tough. And maybe we didn't realize that for 46 years or however long it's been. But I feel like Dr. Parent really came in and made the most of a lot of those opportunities. And again, did a whole bunch of other things. And but anyway, I just really am thankful that we made that change. I know you're going to go through a process now of finding someone new. It is I only see it a little piece of it. It's a huge job. It's a huge job. And so I hope that, as you're interviewing for a new principal, I know you have, I'm sure, a list as well as the Board of Ed. I know it's your process, but just a list of things that a principal should do and that they'll have to do for the middle school and the high school. As a parent, I'll say just some of the things we most appreciated was a lot of communication from Dr. Parent. I mean, I think some parents actually thought it was too much, but, I, for one, appreciated just a lot of communication. Maybe I'll continue in the next section, but anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, seeing no one else, I will close public comment at 7:15. All right, sorry. right, so it brings us to our general resolutions. Can I get a motion to discuss G1 through G19? Ms. Stevenson, seconded by Ms. Carr. Does anyone have anything to discuss in our G items? Seeing none?
Ms. Carosella?
Yes.
Ms. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Corey?
Yes.
Ms. Scarpelli?
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson?
Yes.
Ms. Rundell?
Yes. That brings us to our business resolutions. Can I get a motion to discuss B1 through B5? Mr. Corey, seconded by Ms. Carosella. Does anyone have anything for our Bs, B1 through B5?
Thank you.
All right, seeing none?
Ms. Carosella?
Yes.
Ms. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Corey?
Yes.
Ms. Scarpelli?
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson?
Yes.
Ms. Rundell?
Yes. That's now our personnel resolutions. Motion for P1 through P25. Ms. Stevenson, seconded by Ms. Scarpelli. Does anyone have anything for the P items? Ms. Scarpelli.
I just want to acknowledge P1, Dr. Parent's resignation. I want to thank him for the 3 years that he has been in the district and all he's done for our middle school, high school, especially under our new structure. I do think he's planted a lot of really good seeds here, and I hope they continue. I also applaud what he's done with Wreaths Across America and for our veterans. I think that's very admirable, and I hope that too continues. But I do wish him the best of luck in the district he's going to. He will be missed, but I think he really has set us in the right direction for this district and this model. So, thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, I was going to say something similar. I would just add that there were a lot of changes made in his short period of time, and it takes a really strong leader to make those changes. So I do appreciate that. I'm sure there was a lot of parent feedback that he received in the beginning, but I love hearing comments from parents on how they're seeing the benefits of it today. And I'm definitely seeing it as well as a mom of a 7th grader, so thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Corey?
Yeah, and with P3, as we're constantly growing and seeing new faces and talent come in, and just recognize that in the middle of all the year, we're constantly bringing people in to join the community here. So,
Yeah.
good, best of luck, and we're all counting on these 5 new names.
Thank you very much, Mr. Corey. Anyone else? Ms. Carr?
I'll be abstaining from my name on P25, as I'm sure everybody else
Everybody else
will
will.
as well,
Thank you very much.
for obvious reasons.
Anyone else? All right, I also did want to wish Dr. Parent a wonderful, his next future endeavors. I do appreciate that he was able to come into our community and sort of make the community feel comfortable with this new change. I do think that that takes a really strong leader, and I think he will be great in his new district. So I wish him all the best. We will miss him. All right. Anyone else? Seeing none?
Ms. Carosella?
Yes, with the exception of P25? 24.
No, 25.
My
Just
mentor.
accept as noted.
As noted.
So noted. Ms. Carr?
Yes, same.
Mr. Corey?
Yes, noting P25.
Ms. Scarpelli?
I'm sorry. Yes, except as noted on P25.
Ms. Stevenson?
Yes, except as noted on P25.
Ms. Rundell?
Yes, except as noted. All right, that brings us to our HIB resolution. Can I get a motion to affirm our HIB from May 8th? Ms. Carr, seconded by Ms. Scarpelli. Mike, you can call roll.
Ms. Carosella?
Yes.
Ms. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Corey?
Yes.
Ms. Scarpelli?
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson?
Yes.
Ms. Rundell?
Yes. Next is our vandalism suspension HIB reports. You can look over that. And finally, our next is our public comment, second of 2. So this is for anything. Again, though, please state your name and your address, and you have 3 minutes as well. Public comment open at 7:20.
Colleen Manley, 70 Ridge Road, Part 2, my comments. Just a few more things. I hope that among things I hope to see in a principal coming in is someone who takes the time when they come in to do perhaps what we call a listening tour, who sort of goes around with all stakeholders and just tries to get a good sense of what different stakeholders are interested in. Again, there's been so much change. And anyway, I think a lot of people have valuable things to share. The other thing is, I think the mental health of our children and our students continues to be a high priority. There are studies coming out all the time. And, you know, God bless you guys and Dr. Parent for setting up the Wellness Center. You've been expanding resources to help our children in all the schools. And, you know, thank God we did that, but like it's clear it needs attention, whether that's talking about phones in schools or social media. I hope we continue that conversation and that a principal who comes in considers that an important thing to look at. Shoot, and then finally, I had like a whole nother topic. When I was here the last time, I talked about one thing that I had written to you about. The other thing was about just sort of taking a look at the policy of having the school open all the time. And I think that ties in with some other security issues that people have brought up, and I wonder if perhaps this is either a discussion you can have, or maybe a community forum we could have, to sort of get different perspectives, and particularly from Mr. McQuarrie, who has tremendous experience, to discuss this, because I love having the school open, and yet we know, like, we just leave our school open. So, Amy, I think it's worth some discussion, and as you know, that letter that I sent from the HSA included that. So that was it. Oh, and also, obviously, these are my thoughts on parents. You have so many wonderful parents on the board, who I'm sure can give you a lot of feedback about what to look for in a middle school, high school, whatever, because all of our students are there. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Angela, if you make me cry, I'm going to get really pissed.
No. We will not have any of that. Good evening, everyone. Dr. Angela Pucci-Bender, 55 Yardley Court. First, I want to welcome Mr. Canales to Glen Rock. It's a great place. I am sure you are going to do well. Welcome. I want to thank Dr. Parent for all of his service. He has made an impact, positive impact, and I am sure he will continue on his journey to do great, wonderful things. There is a saying, no one is irreplaceable. That is not true. Education is all about building relationships. It takes time to build trust. And you, Mr. Interconnect, have certainly made a positive impact by our relationships you have formed with staff, by nature of your position with vendors, and with more than 2 decades, certainly the community. As a colleague, I know you, and your reputation precedes you. You have been there to help many new BAs and certainly many superintendents. I am one that can vouch for that. You provide instruction through NJASA that is invaluable. I have sat in your lessons. Thank you. I want to thank you for all your dedication. It is not an easy job. It is not easy to find replacements. Your reputation does certainly once again precede you. I am sure Mr. Canales is up for the challenge. I am sure he will do well. I'm sure he is welcomed by everyone, but Mike, God bless. Go enjoy your next chapter, and I hope I see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jim Garofalo, 140 Millwood Road in Glen Rock. Michael, I second her comments. You've done an outstanding job. I've watched your career as it goes on. I saw you when you were over in, I think it was River Edge or somewhere in that area, were you? Highly recommended, top-notch man. I don't know how we're going to replace you, but I know he's going to try very, very hard. and I know the Board of Education and the superintendent will cooperate with that gentleman in regards to getting the job done and getting it done properly. So my sincerest regards in regards to your future, whatever you may decide to do. Good luck, God bless, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Greetings, Jackie DeVore, Kenmore Place, Glen Rock. When your phone dies, you find an actual notepad in your house. It's fascinating. But I'm just here to speak for a moment. I'm the parent of a Bird School youngster and a middle school youngster, and I'm a member of the DEI committee. That's the school-based committee at Bird. And I just want to take a minute to note, especially in light of some of their comments that are made at some other meetings, especially for any students or staff who might be tuning into this meeting today, or who might be weeks or months or years later looking at it on YouTube or in a video, especially with Pride Month coming up. I have a simple message to say that for all of our students, for all of our staff who are members of the LGBTQIA community, we love you, we honor you, we accept you, and we celebrate you, not in spite of who you are, but because of who you are. And we will endeavor to do that every day. You are loved. Your families are loved. The families you create one day are loved and will always be a welcome, celebrated, beautiful part of the Glen Rock school community and larger community. I want my children to be a part of a school community that is intentionally inclusive, no matter who they are or who they evolve into on their path in this beautiful life that we're all privileged to be living. And just another message to any of the kids listening, anyone in your life or in your path who ever, even in spite of a good intention, possibly weaponizes their faith or someone else's faith against who you are, don't listen to it. Move around it, and we will be here to speak contrary to that for as long as we're able to. Thank you.
Thank you. Looks like nobody else, so I will close public comment at 7:27. Right, that brings us to old business. Does anybody have any old business?
I think I do.
Ms. Scarpelli.
So I think this falls under old business since we accepted your resignation quite some time ago. I did not prepare any statements, so just bear with what I have to say. But I really do want to thank you, Mike, for all the time and dedication you put into the commitment to this community. You really have been kind of the consistent person over many years. You've served under many superintendents. So I have to applaud you on making sure that financially we were moving in the right direction. I appreciate all your work with board members, even meeting with board members to go over the budget in detail. You really have served Glen Rock very well, and I want to wish you the best of luck and in your time off, in your retirement. Somehow I think we might see you again, but I hope you really do enjoy your time in the country and, and with your family as well. So best of luck in the future, Mike.
Ms. Carr?
Like, so I am going to cry because I know. For anybody who knows Mike and I, going back like 15 years, there were times like we would butt heads. But in a traditional way, saying at the end of the day, we respected each other. Sorry. I honestly never thought this day was going to come while I was still living in Glen Rock. And I'm thankful that my kids got to graduate here under your leadership. Because it was leadership. You ran the business office. You ran it really well. I wish you the best.
Thank you, Ms. Carr.
I'm not deleting your phone number either.
Ms. Stevenson?
I was a witness to some of those headbutts when we were sitting on the other side of two other meetings. And I have to say, when I first came onto the board, you welcomed me, you sat me down, you went over the budget with me. You really have served Glen Rock well, and as a taxpayer, I really do appreciate that. You were very dedicated to our community, and I wish you a very happy and, more importantly, very healthy retirement. Enjoy your time with your family.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, Mike. Well, there's not much else to say, but good luck.
I was going to say, it's been a pleasure working with Dr. Charleston, Mr. Van Ness. I'm going to say that again. It's been a pleasure working with Dr. Charleston, Mr. Van Ness, obviously the board, both current and past, district's administration. I appreciate the support of the business office staff, and James is going to be inheriting that staff. And I said this to a few of you before the meeting this evening. I don't know where 19 years went. And I mentioned to one board member, if you look back throughout my career, often I left districts because I became bored. And I'm quite confident that had I would have been here another 20 years, I would never say I was bored. Listen, everybody's been very supportive. I consider myself fortunate and honored to serve in my position as the business administrator, board secretary, and I appreciate everyone's trust that they placed in me. Having said that, my best wishes to Mr. Canellis, and I am confident that he's going to have a successful career here in Glen Rock as I had. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike.
Well, James's goal is to make you cry again. So, guys, then you know you really made it, James.
You know, now that I've calmed down, I want to just acknowledge Mike and the two, actually, I think there's 3 major renovations here, 4 maybe. The $45 million renovation in the middle school, high school. You know, Mike did that. The fields, Hamilton, the libraries and all that. So, you know, on behalf of the residents, because it really, you know, thank you for everything that you have done. I mean, more than people will ever realize. So you've definitely left your mark here.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you. Good luck, Mike. All right. I need a motion to adjourn. Me. Ms. Carr, seconded by Mr. Corey. All in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned. Good night, everyone.